I'd like to debunk a couple myths that are out there regarding full self-driving. A lot of the time we get these software updates to the main or the base OS in our cars. Like for example, I just got pushed to my 2019 Model 3 version 2025.26.8. And for the past several releases, all it says is minor fixes. You can see on the screen here, this release contains minor fixes and improvements. And that's all you get. You have no idea what's been fixed, what's been improved. So we're kind of left guessing a little bit. But I can say with full confidence that this is not affecting full self-driving. Now, a lot of people feel like there's something that has been modified or something that's been improved, and their emotions kind of get the best of them. It's very easy to see something new. And by the way, this has been happening for a very long time where people get an update and they're like, oh, it's been fixed, or oh no, this is broken. This is the worst update ever. Don't proceed. No, none of this stuff is happening behind the scenes. It's the same full self-driving software. If you come down here, you're going to see 12.6.4. This is the same software that I've had for the past 6 months. And a lot of people that have 13.2.9 are getting these updates and they're observing some new behaviors and they're making some comments. It really hasn't changed. I'm just going to take the car here just for old school. I'm going to push this video out quickly because I'm in a rut where I just have tons of video footage that just sits on my desk. It's like that procrastinator's dilemma where you just have way too much to do and you don't know what to pick or choose to do next. Well, my goal, and I'm saying it here first today, right now, is that on this very day that I film this, I'm going to publish it. That is my goal. It's simple. I've got 3 cameras. It shouldn't be difficult at all to get this up. It's going to be a simple drive. I'm taking it from this residential neighborhood area over to the library. We're going to observe if there are any changes because I am hearing people say that there are changes. But again, this is not a fact. This is the same version of full self-driving that we've had for so long. So I am in park. I'm going to put it into drive. I'm going to wait for that steering wheel icon to show up and we'll go ahead and turn it on. It says, be attentive. Keep your hands on the wheel, be prepared to take over. So it is staying here. This is just like every other version before. A lot of times it struggles to take off from a parking space. And again, this is a hardware 3 vehicle with an Intel processor. Whenever you start from a parking spot, it's hit or miss whether it goes or not, but you do have to have a forward path in front of you. This version with hardware 3 and version 12 will not go in reverse. So in this situation, I have to tap on the accelerator ever so slightly, wait for that blue tentacle on the screen to show the path, and then it will take off. A lot of things have been happening recently. We had the SpaceX launch yesterday, which was awesome. I loved watching that. I tried to get my daughters excited about it. Only one of them was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But they don't really grasp the whole space exploration excitement. They're not really into it. So I was sitting there extremely excited watching that. Then we had the Denver Club meetup at the top of Pikes Peak, extremely high up. The light show, Simon did an incredible job. I loved watching a lot of that. I wish I could have been there. I was very curious if people had internet connections up there. I'm sure that being a Tesla crew, there was a lot of Starlink owners there, so they were probably maybe sharing their internet connection through satellites. So that issue of not having cellular connectivity is not so much of an issue these days compared to before. And what else is new? Well, I'm quite busy with my day job, so I don't get a chance to film as much as I'd like to. I'm trying to get as much content out as possible. I'm aiming for at least a video a week, and I tend to stick to that schedule, but it's hard. I have a video right now that's pending where I was driving downtown Chicago, and it was an incredible drive, and you get a lot more variety down there, by the way. Today, the biggest drama or the biggest challenge we may get here is with school getting out. I'm heading to the library here. I got to shoot off a lot of emails, and I'm probably going to be working late here tonight to catch up on some stuff. I took a long lunch today. I had to take a box to the UPS store. It is 2:26 p.m. and we're going through this school zone area right now. So the final destination here is the Schaumburg Public Library. And we're stopping here. Nice caution. Didn't really need to, I mean, that was normal. Even if nobody was there at the intersection, it would have done that. And I know a lot of the I don't know how to say, the attraction or the excitement with full self-driving has kind of died down a little bit, I feel, at least within the Tesla community. And the vast majority of my viewers are Tesla owners. And first of all, we haven't gotten any major updates to FSD. The versions have been stuck in time now for quite a while. And then secondly, everyone is just it operates so well, there's not a lot to document. There's not a lot to test. There are, of course, you could go out and I think do all sorts of crazy edge cases, but finding those is challenging sometimes. And filming in very busy areas is a hard thing for me to do because I'm not downtown Chicago and I'm not driving as much with this car as I drive with my work vehicle. My work vehicle, if I'm not out making sales calls and or driving my work vehicle, that doesn't look good on my record for my company. So I'm driving that one all the time. When I head out every day, I'm going out on sales calls and meeting with people, and I drive my work vehicle. Unfortunately, it's a gas car. It's manual. It's not a manual transmission, but you know what I mean. I have to start and stop the engine. I have to adjust the gear stalk. I mean, I have to do that on this car as well. But the biggest pain points for me with that car are, thankfully, the lights are automatic. I don't need to think about that. But the locking mechanism, I don't have the app. So it's a 2024 Chevy Blazer, and apparently there's an app, but I haven't found in the settings where you can walk away and have the key fob lock your doors automatically. That's what I need to figure out, because that's the one major pain point, is I always have to unlock the car. Sounds like a sob story, right? I mean, we're talking really spoiled people here. I'm extremely privileged to have been spoiled here with this Tesla. And I made a video about how I paid in cash for this car at the age of, how old was I? 38? Yeah, 38 going on 39. And the only way I did it was through investments. But anyway, this was kind of my dream car for at least 5 years. I'm so happy and very privileged to be driving this. Coming up on 100,000 miles, by the way. I have a video I'll be posting on that, going through my whole experience from day one up until now, where I've had my car, and the main advantage. Did you see that? My car reacted to that car in front of me. That was pretty clever. The car got confused. I think that car was maybe going to do a U-turn or something. But I would say, the biggest thing with this car is going on road trips. Hands down, that's the best part of owning a Tesla. And people they'll say differently. They'll say, well, that's one of the worst parts because you have to stop to charge more. And that's true. If you're traveling with like another party and they're in a gas car, they're going to get there before you are. No questions about it. It's going to happen. But the convenience of just the self-driving, that's the big thing. I mean, it really takes a load off of your mind, and you don't have to constantly be, even though it's not like using a lot of brain energy, you just don't need to really be in the moment every single moment while you're on the roads. And if you own a Tesla, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, definitely try one out. Go out on the highway, try driving one, especially with full self-driving, because it is truly a game changer. Like right now, I'm not focusing on the little tiny things. But let's say that you don't want to get the self-driving, and that's totally fine. If you don't like having the automated features, one of the best things about a Tesla is, even with the standard autopilot, when you're sitting at a red light and that light turns green, there's a little chime noise. Now, I know other new vehicles do this as well, but it's just really great to have that feature alone so that you don't get honked at. You know, if someone's like impatiently waiting behind you and you just happen to be slightly distracted the second that, I'm not even a second, like sometimes people are super impatient. It'll be like a millisecond and they'll be honking at you. But that peace of mind is priceless, that alone. And then the acceleration and all the fun things of owning a Tesla. But as expected, this was very uneventful. We just passed our pin on the map, and it's gonna hopefully turn right here. Let's see, okay, oh, it's going left. Go figure, it's trying to turn around. Let's just see what happens here. I've got a little bit extra time because I'm gonna be working overtime here today. It's gonna try to circle around, and I'm very curious how it gets to that pin. In the past, it always used to go into the parking lot, even though it didn't have a path. It would try to get as close to that pin as possible. Let's just see if it goes around in the back area, because that's where you park. You park in the back area. There's a parking lot right next to the library. Regarding turns in parking lots, this has always been a very nerve-wracking experience for me because I always am worried that the car is going to turn too sharply and my tire is going to go over a curb. Oh, it's trying to park here. Are you kidding me? No, it's trying to go around. What is it doing? It's actually like indicating it wants to go in reverse. Okay, now it's changing its mind. But thankfully, it never turns the corners too sharply. In the past, it used to be an issue where it would hit the curb. Like right now, I'm always thinking, is it going to go far enough? Is it going to go far enough? And I am worried, but the trust factor has gone up a lot. And I think the wheelbase of the Model 3 may be different from, let's say, a Model X or a Model S, where it's a little bit more, I guess, proven or reliable that it will go around those curbs. So it's not so much of an issue, but it still is always on my mind when I'm in parking lots, and I can't avoid that. Here it's trying to go left into an area that's not even a road. Let's see if it goes left here now. If it doesn't, I'm going to take over. Okay, it is going now into the parking lot. And good, this is what I would expect it to do. And then inside of here is always where I will just stop it and tell it to park. Here we have some construction going on, going around them. And right in here, looks like because of the construction, I'm going to find another spot. Let's see if we can find a good one here. Okay, it is going left. That's fine. See what it finds maybe in the front. Oh, there's a spot right up here. So here, watch what happens. I'm just going to disengage. I have not touched the wheel or the accelerator. And I'm going to select a spot right here. We have 1, 2, 3. We want the third one away from this car here. Select it right there and say start. How about that? We get a front row seat today. So in summary, no noticeable differences here. If you see people spreading fear, uncertainty, doubt about this version and saying not to update, please ignore them. It really is not any different than any other version of full self-driving. It's speculated that some nuances with maybe the neural nets have changed that may be affecting it, but the base code is identical. There's nothing that's been changed inside of your car on the inference side. And the reason why is because the version is the same as it's always been. Tesla is required to, if they make changes to the code for, even though a neural net is AI and no code, it's not like the heuristics or anything like they used to have, but still, that base code that's interfacing with the neural networks, that has not changed. None of that's changed. So it's the same version. It's the same version that we've had now for 6 months. I can't wait for unsupervised. I know everybody is waiting for that. Let's hope that comes this year. I'm really, really hoping for that. Obviously not for hardware 3, unfortunately. I made a estimate, an educated guess that we would be getting a hardware upgrade, that free hardware upgrade later in 2025, but I'm not as confident about that anymore. I thought we'd be getting it around now, but again, I also thought back then, this is going back to January, that we would have version 13. So I am less optimistic that we're going to get it. And it was mentioned that, and we have to clarify, it's not like, okay, as soon as unsupervised is solved, they're going to upgrade hardware 3. No, it's as soon as unsupervised is solved and its safety level is good enough, and hardware 3 absolutely cannot run that software, then you will qualify for a free upgrade. And there's probably some conditions attached to that, but nobody knows what those are, so it doesn't make any sense to speculate about those because we could go in circles for nothing. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one.